There is something in the Bible that talk about the land of promise. When the children of Israel left the Egypt and they are going to the promised land, the Bible reported that it was a land that is flowing with milk and with honey. Everybody will want to go to that type of land. The land that is flowing with milk and honey, bro. I need to go to that place. But there was a challenge that they had. What was the challenge? They said that there were giants in that land, and those giants, they are not just ordinary giants, they are not just ordinary people. In fact, they were having 7 fingers instead of 5. Bro, they had 7 fingers. And those are the kind of places that you're supposed to be able to confront. Sometimes you want to just sit down among people that they have 5 fingers. No, go for the 7. Hey! It's not going to be easy, but go for the 7. When you go for the 7, that is where you are going to find your promised land. Just imagine that the children of Israel just sit down, even though God have spoken to them. You're supposed to go to this promised land, go and inherit this thing. This is the promise that I gave you. And then they say, there are 7-finger men inside that land. And they just sat down. Do you know that they could have not entered the promised land? They could have not. But thank God for people like Caleb. Thank God for people like Caleb. And because he encouraged, others they were discouraging, but him, he encouraged. So you see that promised land that you're supposed to enter, don't just sit down. Don't just settle for the less. Go for the 7. Go for the 7-fingered men. When you go for them, you are going to enjoy the fruit of your labor. Sometimes when God speaks, it is appearing as if I cannot be able to defeat it, but put on faith. Put on faith. Put on faith, and then you see that mountains will start falling in pleasant places. Don't just sit down. Don't just settle for the less, but go for that promised land that the Lord has spoken. Once God has spoken, He's looking for your action. He wants you to take action. So, but don't just sit down in your comfort zone, still enjoying yourself among 5-fingered men. Try 7-fingered men, bro. Try 7-fingered men. If you try those 7-fingered men, you see that yes, naturally, when God speaks, if you can be able to do it, that means you're not acting on faith. You'll be acting by human flesh, human strength, your natural self. But when God speaks, there is that sense of doubt, that sense of little doubt. But He wants you to go by faith. And there is something about the promised land. Do you know that if that promised land is still vacant, there are no giants, there are no occupants before the children of Israel came to that place could have been questionable. Yeah, it could have been questionable, because why would there be a land that is flowing with milk and honey and people are still trailing up and down? Now, but that is a mountain that they're supposed to confront. And once they confront that mountain, they started enjoying the fruit of their labor. It is a land flowing with milk and with honey, but you need to face the 7. Maybe you don't know. Now you know.